Now here's how to write infotainment Facebook VSLs using AI. So as a reminder, infotainment VSLs are educational VSLs that both inform and entertain. And there's a simple 3-step process on how to write them using Cloud.ai. So first, you prompt and basically train AI to give the best output possible. So you provide basic like engineering. Let's say you're a world-class copywriter, you're great at this and that, you're best at writing and converting Facebook video sales letters. Then you touch on the attention span today and that they need to grab their attention and hold it. And then basically today, that's why I brought you here to write the Facebook VSL. For this one, I want you to make it infotainment, so it will come from our spokesperson, which I will share more info in the next prompt. Infotainment means that your script should be educational. Means that your script should be educational, but also entertaining and engaging. This is how the flow of this chat will go. So I give the prompt, I provide the product info, and ask AI to generate the outline. Then it gives me the outline, and then we get to writing. Then I say that you can't lie, and basically give some tips on the VSL itself, section by section. And then basically it gives you a confirmation. And then step 2 is to provide the product info and outline generation. So if you don't have an outline, you attach the product info and research that you have. You basically add the name, add the target audience, add the pain point and the problem that your product solves. Then you give more detail about the spokesperson. If it's an authority figure like a doctor or some like fitness trainer or whatever, you provide as much info as you can for credibility. So like experience, achievements, maybe events or endorsements like they've been a part of, some studies maybe they've conducted, and so on. And then I say, since this is an infotainment video sales letter, you need to put a lot of focus on explaining the real root cause of the problem, the mechanism behind it, so that UMP, and then the solution or product, the UMS. And then I ask to generate the outline, and then I say the script needs to be like this many minutes long, and also how many words. So ask ChatGPT like how many words should your script be if it's, for example, like 5 minutes long. And then you insert it there to be more specific, and then it comes up with the outline. But if you have your outline already, you use the same prompt, but you replace the sentence by saying below this prompt, I've attached the outline. Then you attach the outline, and then it basically gives you another confirmation. And then step 3 is basically you begin writing, write hooks, write a lead, and continue with the body. And then also I say that just write the core script. Don't write timestamps, B-roll suggestions, and don't put text in the quotes. You can remove this if you want to. I usually prefer not to have them because sometimes they're annoying to be there when writing the actual VSL. So I add them later only. I remind that it's an infotainment VSL. Insert the outline. If you have any examples that you like, you attach them and insert this sentence. And then it starts. And I will go through an example again. This is for a mouth tape for sleeping. And what I did, as I showed here, so the main prompt that engineers AI basically gives me a confirmation, then the product info and the outline. So just copy paste the entire page. It's obviously always better if you do your research and include the research as well, alongside with ideas if you have them. But here, the product page will just do. So I attach the product page, the product name, target audience, people who poor sleep and who snore. And then the main problem is that people poor sleep, snoring, waking up tired, waking up stuffy, and not understanding why. And then the spokesperson, I just made up some doctor. He's a sleep specialist with like this many years experience. He has his own private clinic. He's helped over 7,000 people. Now he wants to help more, so he's like going on the internet to help others. Then more of the prompt, and then the script needs to be 8 to 10 minutes long, so 1,000 to 1,500 words. So I provide this. Then it gives me an outline, and I basically continue with the next prompt. So insert the outline and just say start now. And then, as usual, it gives me like the beginning of the VSL, and you just say continue until the end. Or if there's something that you don't like that stands out, you immediately give your feedback. What I usually do is I just like finish the entire script. I say continue until the end, and then as I read through the script, I highlight some parts that I wanted edited, and then I basically copy paste them into AI and say, I don't like how this is written. I want you to talk about this instead, or I want you to expand on X, Y, Z, and so on. And then I basically fill the gaps in the script. And here's the output it gave me on the first try, without doing any research, with just the info that's on the product page. But there's still some information here, especially about the product. So if you're snoring at night, you might be slowly killing yourself. Here's why. Recent sleep studies reveal that people who snore are 3 times more likely to develop serious health issues, and most don't even know they're at risk. So whenever AI gives you like a mention of the studies or some facts, it's better to check them. So I don't know if this is true, but there's probably something very similar to this that you can include. But if you're watching this, you probably already know something's wrong. You're exhausted all the time, even after what you think was a full night's sleep. I'm Dr. Robert, and as a sleep specialist with over 14 years of experience, I've discovered something shocking about why you can't sleep properly, and it's not what you think. In fact, the real reason behind your poor sleep is something so simple yet so devastating that most doctors completely miss it, and it's affecting millions of people worldwide. You see it every day: the constant fatigue, the brain fog that won't lift, waking up with a dry mouth, and the complaints from your partner about your snoring. Maybe you've tried everything: expensive mattresses, supplements, breathing strips, even considering a CPAP machine, but nothing seems to work. Let me share something alarming. According to recent research, poor sleep doesn't just make you tired, it increases your risk of heart disease by 48%, doubles your chance of mental health issues, and can even lead to early cognitive decline. Once again, it mentions like some research or study. You can try and find if it's actually true. If not, I'm sure there's some alternative study that you can use with a similar outcome. What I usually do is I go into ChatGPT, I include like this entire sentence and say like, is the study above true? If so, find me the link for it. But if it's not true, find me 5 other studies with links that are similar to this one. And usually ChatGPT gives pretty good outputs, and it gives me studies that I can use. So it continues with the authority and credibility, more about the person. Now the unique mechanism. Here's what I discovered. The root cause of your sleep issues isn't your mattress, your stress levels, or your genetics. It's something much more basic. You're breathing through your mouth while you sleep. Now you might think, what's the big deal? We all breathe through our mouths sometimes, but here's the shocking truth. Mouth breathing during sleep triggers a cascade of harmful effects in your body that create what I call the nighttime breathing crisis. This is I would replace this maybe with something more simple, but overall it's a good idea to have like something unique there. And as you can see, it's not taken from the product page. AI just came up with that on the spot without me doing any research, so that's pretty good. Let me explain what happens. So when you breathe through your mouth at night, your throat tissues relax and vibrate. That's what causes snoring. When it gets worse, your mind draws out, which leads to reduced saliva production. Without enough saliva, harmful bacteria multiply in your mouth, affecting both your oral health and your entire body. But here's the real kicker. Mouth breathing bypasses your nose's natural filtration system. Your nose is designed to filter, warm, and humidify the air before it reaches your lungs. When you bypass the system by breathing through your mouth, you're essentially breathing unfiltered, unprocessed air directly into your body all night long. And then basically explains why most solutions fail, which is good. You can maybe do some more research, see if there are other common solutions, add them to there. Then the discovery story. So this frustration led me on a 2-year journey to develop a better solution. I worked with material scientists, studied sleep patterns, and tested countless prototypes. The breakthrough came when we discovered a unique medical-grade adhesive that is strong enough to stay in place all night, yet gentle enough for sensitive skin. Even more importantly, it works perfectly with facial hair, something no other solution had managed to achieve. And after extensive testing and refinement, we finally created something that would revolutionize sleep quality for millions of people. Then the product introduction. So introducing hostage tape, it gives some explanation. So here it talks about the product, but I would, if I had to make edits, I would probably explain more the mechanism behind it, of how simple it is. Like it takes a few seconds to apply before you go to bed, and then like explain what happens in the body. So like maybe do a segment of like nasal breathing versus mouth breathing. So when you're sleeping with a mouth tape and nasal breathing, explain like the process from the air entering your nose to like to the all the way to how it improves your sleep, and versus what happens with when you breathe through the mouth, which in this VSLs kind of explained already. Then there's proof stack. The results have been nothing short of remarkable in our clinical testing. Let me check if this is from the product page. No, it's not. So AI made up these stats. You can either go with them, or if you want to change that, you can like just say many users reported, and then just have bullet points of like reduced snoring, more morning energy, reported waking up without dry mouth, and so on. Then a place for some reviews, how many customers have helped. Then the practical applications, so how to use. So just apply one drip across your lips before bed. And yeah, here once again it says most users notice improvements in their sleep quality within the first few nights, and then what happens by week 1, and then objection handling, and the call to action, and the closing part again. Yeah, so overall it's a good VSL. The only change I would make is explain more about what actually happens when you breathe through your nose, like the process in a bit more deep detail and very simply explained. Also, let me see if it handles the objection. Yet, like, is it really safe to tape my mouth shut at night? I think that's the biggest objection with mouth taping. I would maybe either even address this a bit earlier, right after the introduction of the product. So you introduce the product, give a few sentences to explain it, and then basically address this right away, so the viewership doesn't drop off. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty good VSL that's worth testing.